Hey, Super Cruisers! It's Frank and Kevin from Cruising with Wheels.
Hi! Today we have another exciting Q&A for you. Number 42.
Our first question comes from Angel. Now, Angel says, first cruiser here, going in February of 2022. My cruising friends tell me that they always bring hometown gifts with them to give to the crew as presents. Is this a very common practice? Aren't I already paying gratuities? Does the crew really want stuff that people bring to give them? What do we always say?
Well, I always say keep your crap at home. They don't want your stuff. It's a nice thought, but...
Well, it's blunt.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a nice thought,
Yeah,
but,
it is
you
nice
know,
thought.
just like you probably want money, they want money.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to kind of take a step back, and a lot of people don't realize how small the cabins are. There are, 2 to a cabin, sometimes 4 to a cabin. Can you imagine all the stuff people giving them? How many magnets or tchotchkes can you possibly have? There simply is no room for it. And then there are people who want to bring them their own homemade jams and stuff, and that's a no-no, because, bringing things that are unpackaged on board regards to food, no. And then you got to worry about, are they allergic to what you made? What do you always say? Give them cash.
Cash is king.
That's right.
Next question comes from Carl. Looking to book another cruise, but regular cruising buddy can't go, and I can't seem to find anyone else to go with me. Still debating whether to pay that double charge and go alone. Are there places I can look to find a compatible cabin mate? Pay for peace of mind or save money?
Yeah, well, it depends on how you want this to work. I mean, if you're used to, regular travel buddies, and your family and friends that are a no-go, that's hard to say, are you going to try to connect with a stranger? Because you don't know who you're going to get. I mean, you really don't know. Even your family and friends, you don't know until you live with them.
But you can look on social media.
Yeah.
You can look on Facebook groups. You could put a post out there on Cruise Critic.
Right.
There are also apps like Cabin Mate that you can look into and give it a try. I personally wouldn't do it. Frank probably wouldn't do it because you don't know what you're getting into. But if you're really dying to go on that cruise and you can't afford it, check it out.
It could end up being wonderful, or it could end up being a disaster.
The next question comes from Matt.
Matt says, how do you cruise ships get their electricity? That's a good question.
It's a good question. It's an interesting question. Nearly all contemporary ocean liners and cruise ships are powered by electricity, powering their motors that turn the propellers, right?
Good to know.
And it powers the air conditioning systems, the lights, and all other appliances aboard the ship. And most vessels produce their electricity through the use of diesel engines and generators.
Right.
And so obviously the way they get their electricity is by using diesel fuel and generators.
Cool. Excellent.
When they are docked, though, sometimes they hook up to shoreside power. But I don't think a lot of the big, huge cruise ships do that, more the smaller ships.
They going to come when diesel won't be necessary?
Yeah, probably. I could see it.
Yeah.
The next question comes from Yolanda.
Yeah, Yolanda says, my girlfriend always comes back from her cruises with these lavish tales, hooking up with crew members. I've heard that's a major no-no. Is she just BSing me?
Yeah, I think she's a liar. Although it does happen.
It does happen.
It does happen, but if you're caught, the crew member will probably lose their job, right?
Right.
And you'll probably just be disembarked,
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah. Fraternizing between guests and crew is absolutely forbidden. And I can, tell you that when I went on my first cruise in 2001, group of 10 guys, 10 of us. One of them, hooked up with one of the crew. But, that can be dangerous.
The next question comes from Elizabeth. People are acting crazy these days.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
On planes, trains, and everywhere else.
Yeah.
COVID seems to have brought out the worst in people. What
Sad.
kind of society do they have on Earth? What kinds of security do they have
Well,
on
I
cruise
know
ships?
what's happening to society. So, was that a Freudian slip? Because, society is going, I don't know, we say hell in a handbasket. But, yeah, people are worried about security. You've seen YouTube videos of all these crazy fights on cruise ships, right? But don't worry, because cruise ships have a security staff. They have a large security staff. Cameras are everywhere.
They even have jails.
I mean, just...
They call it the brig.
Yeah, believe it or not, there are jails on board.
And serious violators will be booted off the ship
That's right.
at the next port.
Yes,
And then they have to go home on their own expense.
that's right.
Their own dime.
As the ship says, not my problem.
Next question comes from Constance.
Constance, yes. Constance says, I'm in my early 60s and going on my first cruise with a group of longtime friends since my husband passed. They are all avid cruisers and always talk about bar crawls and cabin crawls. I feel dumb asking them, but what are these?
Well, first of all, we have to say our condolences on your husband's passing, and congratulations for getting back into cruising.
That's right.
But
And no dumb questions.
there is
Questions
no
are-
dumb
that's right.
questions. There's only dumb answers.
Right.
Basically, bar crawls and cabin crawls are very similar. Bar crawls means that you go from one bar to the next, to the next, to the next. So you visit all the bars. You have a drink there.
But it's with
Sometimes
a-
you play games, and it's with a group.
But it's right. That's the key thing. It's with a group of people. Like we did
and
the bar
a cabin
crawl.
crawl is where you go from cabin to cabin to cabin.
Right.
So that you get to see different cabins, different configurations.
Right, right.
Different parts of the ship. And they're
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we did we had a bar crawl on our group cruise.
We had a bar crawl on our group cruise.
So, yeah.
Katie, thank you for organizing that. She's the mistress of
merriment
mayhem.
and merriment.
Mayhem.
Yes, both.
The next question comes from Steve. What do you think is the best holiday to cruise on? I want to surprise my wife. Is it Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's? What do you think?
Or Halloween.
Or Halloweeny.
That's a lot of people's favorite, Well, we've done two.
I would say, this would be what I would say to him. What's your wife's favorite holiday? And that's your answer.
If that's the surprise for her, then figure out what she wants. We have done two. We've done a Valentine cruise and a Halloween cruise.
We did an Easter cruise, too.
Was it Easter that we went?
One time we went on
Oh,
Easter.
wow. Did they have
Well,
fun?
it was like the day after Easter.
Oh.
Or the day before
Oh.
Easter we got back or something.
Yeah.
So they considered it an Easter cruise.
But it was nice, the Halloween cruise, because there were a lot of kids and everybody was in costumes. We were in
Don't
costumes.
scare 'em. Maybe they
no,
don't
but
want
it
a
was
lot of
really
kids.
nice with the kids because they went throughout the ship and restaurants and all these different venues on the ship were handing out candy. And again, so many people on board were in costumes. But I would love to do a Christmas New Year's cruise. That would be cool.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
could find it. So I would say if you are concerned with price, you don't want to go on Christmas or New Year's.
Yeah, that's
because
popular.
They're usually double the price.
Popular.
Valentine's Day was nice. They had special menu Valentine's
Yes.
Day. Halloween was cool because they have costume parties
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving would be great because you wouldn't have to be with the relatives.
Great. If you could get away.
So, but I would say whatever your wife's favorite holiday is, that is what I would
Go with that.
The next question comes from Alexandria.
Yeah, Alex, she wants to know what's with this whole pineapple code thing. Some kind of secret sex club? Well, I see a few.
We had to research that.
Yes, because
well, we kinda knew it, too.
yeah, I kind of knew it because I have seen it.
And our pineapple has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, right. Our little pineapple here has nothing to do with it. But I guess on a cruise, a pineapple or upside down pineapple is code for swinging or wife swapping. If you see a pineapple on a cruise ship, it means that people in the cabin are up to meeting other couples for adult fun. Or if there are pictures of pineapples, or there's magnets on their door of pineapples, or they have a decal of a pineapple on their clothing, I guess that means fun time.
The next question comes from Gary with 2 R's.
What does Gary with 2 R's ask?
Gary asks, I am still waiting for my passport renewal that I sent in 2.5 months ago. I'm seeing online in groups that some people have been receiving theirs back in 2 to 3 weeks. Like, what the hell?
I know. I saw, Gary, I've seen that too, where people are like, I sent it 3 weeks ago, and I just got it back. And I'm like, really? Well, that's hopeful, but some people are waiting months and months and still don't have it. They say that officially it takes 4 to 18 weeks via mail.
Is that with COVID too?
Yeah, there's still.
I mean, are they delineating that
No,
it's 4 to 18 weeks
no,
online
actually, they're
with
saying
COVID?
no. COVID was not mentioned.
Oh, see, I think it's going to take longer.
It was considered normal time is 4 to 18 weeks. Well, you might as well say normal time is 4 to 52 weeks. I mean, but yeah, some people have gotten it back sooner. Now, you can check the status of your passport request or renewal, whatever it is. The State Department does have an online passport status system, so go online and find it, or you can call.
Now, you're assuming that he's an American citizen.
I am assuming he's an American citizen.
We don't know that for sure.
Right.
So,
but we're going to give you
if you are
the
US,
USA answer.
If you are from the U.S., we know that information.
Right.
So you can check with your State Department online for the status of your application, and they can call a phone number.
Right. There's a National Passport Information Center with 2 numbers, and Kevin will put them in the link.
Yep. It's 1-877-487-2778 or 1-888-874-7793. And I will link them in the description below.
Right.
Unfortunately, there are far too many countries for us to include the information for every country. So if you are from any country other than the United States, you're on your own.
Sorry. We can only speak to what's happening here.
Or you can put that number in the comments below,
Right.
if you know it. The next question comes from Abigail.
Abigail says, I know that most of the cruise lines and ships have LGBT get-togethers. Are cruise ships really gay-friendly, and have you ever attended a get-together?
Well, I think that in these days that we are in, LGBT things are of the past. I actually think that.
Do you?
I've seen it
let's really go to the past.
Well, we've seen it in the thing, in the dailies. We've shown up for them, and nobody's shown up.
Right. Well, in the past, the LGBT get-togethers were always listed in the newspaper daily, the ship's daily, as Friends of Dorothy. And that was always code in reference to the gay community's love of Judy Garland, Wizard of Oz. It was Friends of Dorothy. Nobody uses that anymore. You will find it in the daily as LGBT get-together. And they usually have, depending on the length of the cruise, if it's a regular 1 week, they have one get-together. We went to one, and it was funny because we
went to a couple.
We were the one I remember was
people, at the Alchemy Bar.
People were just walking by, looking to see who was showing up, and if you were hot and bothered and whatever, you would participate. But if they didn't find you, pleasing, they just kept walking. But it was funny because we were like watching the parade of looky-loos, as I called them.
It was years ago.
It was years ago.
I just feel like
it was funny.
I feel like it's a non-issue for the cruise lines, and for that's what I feel.
Right, which is why I think
I think they're kind of doing away with that.
Well, I think it's one of the reasons why they did away with the secret code.
Right.
Friends of Dorothy.
Stupid.
Yeah, because it is. It's just say it what it is. LGBT get together, and we have been on cruises where we're like is this a gay cruise? Because, you know, there's gay and lesbian couples abounding on the cruise. And we have met so many. And people will say, well, I thought that, you know, gay and lesbians just went on these gay cruises. And they're like, well, if you want to do that, and I have been on several, you will pay 3 times the price for that specific gay cruise. So we're like, we're just going on, you know, regular cruises. And you can't believe the amount of LGBT cruises there are. So it's wonderful to see.
Now, if you want to be part of our cruising community, you simply have to click that subscribe button and hit that little bell to activate notifications of when our videos go live. It'll also tell you when we go live. We go live 2 times a month on Sundays.
That's right, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Right.
So make sure to follow us there and check out Cruise Chat. It's an all-inclusive group for anybody who's a cruiser or wants to be a cruiser. It's over on Facebook, so go check it out.
Click to join. I'll let you in.
But until next time, we want to remind you to always
travel safe
and cruise often.